Well, hello, my friends. Welcome back to the channel. I would just like to share some new sort of items that I've procured over the last little while. Very interesting set of IsoAcoustics stands. These are the Aperta stands for bookshelves. I got the ones in black. They are now currently underneath the Radiant Acoustics speakers. They are positioned on top of these stands that I got from Amazon a long while ago. They're similar to the Edifier stands. They're HDF or MDF wood. Nothing fancy, nothing expensive. They were under $100 for the pair, but now I've got the isolation there to help me balance out where oh my God, look at the rolling light. Anyways, yeah, the lights are a low frequency. So anyways, got the IsoAcoustic Aperta stands on the Radiant Acoustics Clarity 6.2s. I have to be specific about what I'm talking about, but this company basically only has one pair of speakers right now. So I've got them positioned here. Two things that happened is they've been raised up the height of the stands, which positions their tweeter more in my listening position. So they sound better in terms of that, but they've also actively reduced the amount of vibration going into the stands. And I've been able to feel this because if you feel between the joint here, between the top knuckle, let's see if I can get my lights to cooperate here. So between the top knuckle and the bottom knuckle, which is what I'm calling them, knuckles, and you place your finger or thumb on both sides, you can feel vibration in the top, but on the bottom, you don't feel anything. So you can literally feel with your hands that they're actually doing something. As far as high frequency performance goes, I want to show you and play this demo song that I've played before, and we'll judge for ourselves out here in the room what they sound like. This is a similar song that I've used in the other room, and we're sitting a little bit more near field to the speakers now than we were. Now, I don't know that it's going to be a very fair A-B comparison, where I'm only 3 feet from them now, as opposed to the 7 feet that I am in the other room. Also, this room is not quite as damped. The ceiling isn't treated at all. The walls are treated with a fabric that's similar to the other room. The width of the room is about the same, but this opens up to another space, so it's not quite the same there. In my listening impression, though, just sitting here, obviously they sound really great. The speakers already sound really great. They're not very loud per se. But you can hear more of the air around the cymbals, the top end attack on the saxophone, the shaker on the right channel. I can get the crispness of the snare and the cymbals, the hi-hat on the left channel. The triangle now comes in. Yeah, I think these are really great addition to any system. I have been on this kick for IsoAcoustics over the last little while, and I want to talk about one other thing that I've noticed, as many of my viewers are going to know, that I've planned to do the IsoAcoustics Gaia feat. So let's talk about what's going on with it. Let me adjust this light a little bit. So here are the stands, or the little spikes for the the Arundel towers. This is the upper threads, the ones that I was talking about in my other video. The focus is going to go way out here. And obviously my table is slanted. Nothing I can do about that. Not the best thing to do. All right, box. See you later. So this is the spike from the Arundel tower. You can see obviously the matching ones, they meet flush. All right, so I got new feet from IsoAcoustics. They sent these packages over and they have different threads in them. So I want to show you the thread depth of the ones they sent me. So you can see here that one of them is shorter than the Arundel spike, right? And then they sent another one that is much longer than the Arundel spike. So I'm not really sure what to do with either one of them. This one definitely won't fit. The decorative thread top is going to be way off by quite a bit. And then this one is shorter by quite a bit. So this one might thread into the decorative top on the Arundel tower stud, but this one definitely won't. So I understand that these are supposed to be threaded inserts for the Gaia 1 feet, where the Gaia 1s don't come with this thread. So this is the additional threads that do come with the that will work with the feet. The larger sizes for the Gaia 1s themselves. The top part, which is an M6, is supposed to thread into the Arundel feet. But as you can see, the length differences here, like one is too short, the Arundel thread is in the middle, and then one of them is way too long. Now if I had a hacksaw, then I might cut this one down to match the exact size. But I guess I'm going to have to report back and ask why this is the case, and then see what IsoAcoustic has to say about why this choice was made. I have some additional ideas for the longer thread. I'm not going to reveal those yet because it may potentially lead to an accessory market that I can like open a store or Patreon or a subscriber store or something like that, and I can sell accessories, which is, you know how it is. You have to be creative, invest in your own businesses and things like that. And with this small sort of like finding with these sizes, it gave me an idea of like, well, okay, well, how do I make the best of it? And I'm really into customizing parts, so I don't see it as a negative per se, but it does give me the opportunity to figure out what to do next. So I want to share one other bit of information and news that I had come across my door recently. You know how it's Black Friday and some of the deals are actually pretty good. So let me show you something that I picked up, and I'll talk about them a little bit towards the end of the video here. So join me for a second. And first of all, shout out to MoFi Electronics. I got to talk to Rich at the Toronto Audio Fest, and he gifted me with this awesome shirt. So shout out to MoFi. I'd really like to get the Source Point 8s in to listen to. I've got quite a number of bookshelves, and now I've got these Aperta stands. It'd be pretty good to listen to those. So yeah, these are the stands, the Aperta stands that I'm talking about. They'll go underneath your bookshelves. These are really good for most isolation from your stands. If you're using heavy stands, that's even better, but isolating them completely from the stand prevents the vertical motion rather than horizontal and all that. So you might have seen on my community page, I made this joke about audiophile cables, and the joke was basically I intended to order snake oil, a couple boxes of snake oil, and they sent me audiophile cables instead. You know how the joke tends to go these days. A lot of people joke around about accessories being snake oil, and cables and whatnot, that argument really presents itself to a lot of people. So I want to just talk about the ones that I got, and I want to show you what they look like, the reason why I picked them up, and what I think I'm going to get out of the purchase. Not that I was anticipating a lot of sound change, because let's face it, some of them are good, some of them are bad. The engineering that goes into the cables will maybe make a difference, and sometimes they won't. This was a gamble that I made based on a Black Friday sale. The price was reasonable enough for me to experience something, and of course I'm letting you know what I think of them towards the end of the video here. So let me show you what they are, and let me talk to you about why I decided on them. So the reason why I decided to pick these up, and we'll see that they are right here on the back of my Orchard Audio amplifiers. They're basically from a company that was suggested to me by a number of different manufacturers for additional power cables. It's a nice, solid metal housing. They're very well built. The cable is relatively flexible, not entirely flexible. They are a 10 gauge power cable certified. So they present me with what I'm valuing is a better looking cable than your standard black power cable, which would look like this. Our standard sort of black plastic, we know how these go. Not that there's anything bad with these. They're obviously certified. They're reliable. Personally, for me, the amount of money that I spent on these cables, which was about $30 for 3 feet, that's not overly priced, especially to have it looking this way, more matching to my carpet, lighter tones. I need to change up my speaker cables. As you see here, I've got relatively cheap speaker cables. They're 12 gauge cables. Again, Amazon has been my friend, and I'm hoping to compare a little bit of the audio between systems. The power cables, I picked up a pack, or basically 2 for that much. So it's very, very inexpensive for that cable, comparatively speaking. Now, am I anticipating hearing a big difference? Not really. If I'm honest with you, I basically chalked it up to listening for or appreciating it for its aesthetic value rather than audio value. I know a lot of people will say that everything's about the audio, and if it doesn't improve the sound, then it's a waste of money. Well, to some degree, depending on what your goals are, I can see that being valid. Arguing that it does make an audible difference is one thing. Me claiming that it makes a reasonable amount of aesthetic difference from my personal taste, that's a value that nobody else can argue with. That's my opinion. That's what I wanted. That's what I liked. And you know what? They look great. I appreciate the way they look. So given that, I think I did a pretty good job. These are pretty decent. They're a gray and nylon sheathing. They're insulated, they're twisted, they're engineered correctly. I looked at all the details online. They're OFC. Can't go wrong. 10 gauge power cables, that's pretty awesome. So let me talk about this before I let you go for the day. The Gaia feet are going to get tested sometime, maybe tomorrow. I can't do this with one hand. Let me see if I can actually put this down on the arm of the chair. Hold on, bear with me. You know how I do this. One-handed, no editing. There you go. I'm on your left. So I will be doing the demo with these. I'll have to correct the threads, get the IsoAcoustic pucks attached to the towers, do my little bit of before and after, edit that together, and I'll let you know what I think. Yes, these are the correct feet for my towers. Now that I have the right threads, they should work absolutely fine. So we'll do a repeat of what I was trying to do last time, and that should be up tomorrow. I didn't want to complicate my day today. I've got a number of things going on already. So we'll do our best, and we'll get to this in the next day or two, maybe after the weekend. Work has been very, very busy. There's a lot of overtime, lot of scheduling changes, things like that going on for this week for me. So personally, my videos have slowed down a little bit. Yes, I realize, but that's also because obviously my space and my timing has been slightly compromised. So my OG fans, friends that have been around for a long time, know that my consistency is pretty good. And I'm trying to bring as much value or at least interesting topics along the way with the different speakers that I have, the different products that I'm trying out, trying to grow and present something new. But obviously the budget and timing needs to match, because otherwise it's not really worth it. It's very difficult also. Not that there's no value, and I love sharing these topics with friends, but getting my hands on and affording these things is another story. As we all know, the gear can get expensive. So without further ado, I'll let you go for the day. Happy Thanksgiving weekend to all my American friends. To Canada, don't worry, we already had ours. I will see everybody in the next video, and thank you for joining this one. If you have any thoughts, comments, the code word for today is spikes or feet. You could put either one. There's my candid foot in the video for the day. I'll see you all in the next video. Thank you very much for joining this one. Again, the Gaia 1 feet and the Arundel Tower demos will be coming later on in the week, if not next weekend. I appreciate everybody for joining, watching, subscribing, liking, sharing. Leaving comments is the best of all, and I hope to see everybody back here pretty soon for another video. Okay, have a great day. I'll see you next time.